Welcome everyone to TheCommandZone.com. This is John, and I'll be doing a deck tech today of my Glissa, the Traitor EDH Commander deck. I ran this in Seasons 5 of the SoCal EDH League, and I got third place overall after the finals. So it's a very, very good deck. Glissa is very strong. She is a 3/3 first strike Death Touch creature. She costs 2 green and a black. And she says, whenever a creature an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. A very, very strong ability that has a lot of synergies and should be really, really used very effectively to create a outstanding deck. So I have a lot of synergies in the deck that work around her, I guess, resurrection ability of artifacts. I don't have too many artifacts in the deck. I used to run a lot, but I have decided to kind of cut down the number of artifacts in order to really shape the deck around a few that are incredibly synergistic, that work very, very well with Glissa and really affect board state. Okay, so let's move on here. So let me start with the mana base. We'll start with the forest first. I run 11 forests and 7 swamps for the basic mana, for the basic lands. Moving on to the utility and non-basics. We have two lands that work very well together, or well, not work very well together, but are essential in every EDH deck, and they are sack outlets. So we have High Market and Phyrexian Tower. So you really need sack outlets in your deck, and I recommend you put at least 2 lands in that are sack outlets for your creatures. Let's see. Next we have 2 lands that obviously have to go in a green-black deck. Overgrown Tomb and Bayou. Those 2 are obviously excellent. And a card to fetch them up, a Verdant Catacombs. I don't run all the extra fetch lands. I don't think they're really needed. Verdant Catacombs is fine by itself. I don't have to run a Bloodstained Mire or any of those other ones to fix my goals. Next is Ancient Tomb. I like this land a lot. It's very good when you have it in your opening hand. The 2 life is kind of arbitrary. It doesn't really mean anything. And you can ramp out on your opponents. Next are 2 lands that win games by themselves. We have Urborg and Cabal Coffers. So every black deck should run both of these, or just Cabal Coffers if you're mono black, but you can produce a lot of mono with these 2 on board. As well, I run a Deserted Temple in order to untap my Cabal Coffers, and it has done really, really well for me in the past. The Deserted Temple is also used to untap a Mossword Bridge if I need it to be untapped immediately, as well as a Gaia's Cradle. So Gaia's Cradle is another great land that should be run in every green deck because it produces more than 1 mana usually. Alright, next let's go to some other lands here. Another utility land that has to be in every EDH deck, it's Reliquary Tower. Very, very useful land. Hopefully we're all drawing cards, so we should use that. We have a Strip Mine. No necessary introduction on that one. And then we have a couple other ones here. We have a Reflecting Pool. Obviously good in any 2+ color deck. We have a Twilight Mire, 2 fixed land, 2 fixed mana. We have Shizo Death Storehouse. This is a legendary land that produces black. It doesn't come untapped, and it has a neat little ability, so we threw it in the deck. A Bajuka Bog to remove anyone's graveyard, and a couple little lands to help fix Tainted Wood and Llanowar Wastes. So that is the mana base. I believe it's 37 land. Let us move on to the creatures. Let's start with the artifact creatures. They are fairly important in Glissa, and I actually only have a few. We'll take a look at these. We have Solemn Simulacrum, of course, good for your mana fixing and draw. Next is a Duplicant. Duplicant gets you out of sticky situations. He will take care of any creature on the board, and you can always sack him to get him right back immediately when a creature goes in the bin, and you can do it over again. Wormcoil Engine, probably one of the worst of my creatures. He's there for an infinite combo with Ashnod's Altar and Nim Deathmantle. We'll talk about that later. I've never used him for that, but he helps get you out of some situations with his lifelink ability. Next is Steel Hellkite, another artifact creature I'm not too completely impressed with, but he's there because he can win games by himself. And then we have Mere Battlesphere, an excellent creature that is underused in EDH. Putting 5 creatures on the board for 7 mana is actually very good. And his little small baby creatures, those little mirrors, can be used for a lot of other cool things. Alright, next, let's go with our non-artifact creatures. We have Skur Tribe-Elder. He obviously fetches for land. He's a good tutor for land, so we should always put as many tutors in our decks as possible. EDH is always about tutors. Tutors are God's gift to EDH. You want to put as many tutors in the deck as possible. I highly recommend that. Fierce Empath, another excellent tutor. He tutors up any of your 6-drop creatures, 6 or higher, and I have a lot of those, so he really is very effective. He gets my Duplicate, he gets a Mere Battlesphere, he gets Steel Hellkite, just to name a few. Next is Raphellos. Raphellos is obviously Sol Ring plus. If he comes out turn 2, broken things tend to happen. Eternal Witness. We all know what Eternal Witness does. Brings back whatever I need. Acidic Slime, little utility if I need a pesky artifact or enchantment gone. Obviously Primeval Titan. It's Big Daddy himself. He should be in every green deck. A card that goes very well with Primeval Titan, off a Tooth and Nail, is Avenger of Zendikar. But the card I usually use more with Avenger of Zendikar, a Regal Force. Regal Force draws cards equal to the number of green creatures I control, and I usually draw about 10 or 12 cards off of these two coming out. So that usually effectively wins me the game, and I really like playing them together. New addition to the deck, we have Vorinclex. Vorinclex is excellent, and has really helped me win a lot of games very quickly. Terastodon, obviously, blows up 3 permanents you don't want out on the board. Woodfall Primus. He is also part of our Infi combo with Ashnod's Altar and Nim Deathmantle. Any Persist creature will do this, we'll talk about it later. But he can really just wipe the board clean, leave only their creatures, and have everyone scoop. And the last creature in the deck is Myojin of Night's Reach. Myojin is a very, very strong card. It comes out very quickly in my deck. I have a lot of ramp, and it can take care of everyone else's hands and usually lead to you winning the game. Okay, now let's look at some artifacts here. We have a lot of them. Actually, I believe 20 or 22. First, we'll go with a couple sweepers that are in the deck. We have Nev's Disc, as well as Oblivion Stone. Both of these effectively wipe the board and come immediately back with Glissa because of her ability. So that's very, very nice. I have a pair of swords here. We have Sword of Feast and Famine and Sword of Fire and Ice. Feast and Famine is probably the best sword in the deck. It untaps all my lands, and on a Primeval Titan it's exceptionally good. So the trigger comes off from Primeval Titan, you put 2 lands into play, you attack, get some trample damage through, untap, and usually those lands are Cabal Coffers and Orborg and lead into something really crazy. Alright, next, let's look at a little bit of ramp here that I have, some artifact ramp. We have Gilded Lotus, Thran Dynamo, Monovault, and of course Sol Ring. So that's a little bit of the artifact ramp. Oh, sorry, I missed one. We have Mind Stone as well. Mind Stone is very good with Glissa. It can come back when you want to draw a card. Next, let's look at a couple staples here. We have Sensei's Divining Top. We have Lightning Greaves. And we have Mind's Eye. This is my winning card from SoCal EDH League Season 5. So if you get in top 5, you can get one of these full art cards. And that is the one I got. Let's look at some cards that are kind of special for Glissa that I would say you would not run normally in EDH. And there are a couple here. One is Nile Spellbomb. Nile Spellbomb is very good. It removes graveyards at instant speed, and it tends to come back immediately. Plus it allows me to draw cards, so it's very, very good. Executioner's Capsule, destroy a non-black creature for 2. Very, very good. Destroys a creature, comes back immediately to my hand, and you can basically get as many creatures as you have mana. It's very good. Another one I play, actually this is another artifact ramp spell, in a sense, Expedition Map. I used to play with a lot more like Horizon Spellbomb and Amaryllis Sphere and all these others, but they were not very good. They didn't ramp and they didn't get me any utility lands. So Expedition Map is really good. It gets me any land I need at the time. It costs 1, 2 to put in hand. It's just a very, very good land, and it comes back when a creature goes in, so I can continuously use it. Alright, so here is the combo I was talking about. We have Nim Deathmantle, and we have Ashnod's Altar. So how this works is, let's say you have a Woodfall Primus on board, and you want to destroy everything. You sack the Woodfall Primus to the Ashnod's Altar, it goes, comes back with Persist. You sack it again, you have 4 mana floating, and immediately you put on the Deathmantle. So you could see how crazy this is. You just continuously do it over and over again until they're out of permanence. It's a very, very good one. Same thing with Wormcoil Engine or Mere Battlesphere. You can make infinite creatures, infinite mana. It's a good source. Next we have Mimic Vat, useful in every deck. It stops graveyard shenanigans and all kinds of stuff. You have to have it. And the best artifact in my deck, Mindslaver. It's not uncommon for me to take everyone's turns and have a lot of fun myself, have everyone scoop. It's a good time. Okay, so those are the artifacts, just a couple, not too many. And let us look at some other spells in the deck. So let's go with my tutors. I love tutors, so I put as many as I can in the deck. We'll start with Sylvan Library. It's a tutor. It tutors the top 3 cards of your deck. You can always draw. You can get your lands on top. It's a very good card. Obviously, Tooth and Nail. You have to play that one. That gets a lot of good creatures for me. It gets my Regal Forest and Avenger of Zendikar. It gets Primeval Titan and something else. It gets a Woodfall Primus, Terrasthon. You know, there's a lot to do. Defense of the Heart. Usually people don't want to keep 3 creatures on board when you have this out, but it tends to happen sometimes. Liliana Vess. Green Sun Zenith, which recently has been fetching more Rafellos and Sakura Tri-Builders in the early game to ramp me out. But it's a very good one, and everyone should run Green Sun. Beseech the Queen, Vampiric Tutor, Demonic Tutor, Worldly Tutor, and I believe those are all of the tutors that I do run, besides the creature tutors that you saw. So we'll get rid of those. A little bit more ramp in the deck. We have Explosive Vegetation, Skyshark Claim, Cultivate, and Mana Reflection. I don't run the Kodama's Reach because I have so much ramp in the deck that I can tend to get out very quickly. Okay, let's look at the last couple spells that we have in the deck. We have Corrosive Grip. It's a very good card. Just gets rid of any pesky thing that we don't want out. Harmonize, I love to draw, so Harmonize is excellent. Praetor's Council. Praetor's Council is okay, but I think I'm going to replace it with Yawgmoth's Will. I don't think I want to pay 8. 8 is expensive. It usually stops me from playing any of those spells I just brought back, and I don't like that. I like to be able to do everything in one turn. Another one, Regrowth, also goes with the Graveyard Resurrection. We have some board sweepers. We have To Create Pain, another draw spell for me, and Damnation. A couple more good ones, Beacon of Unrest and Siphon Mind. Siphon Mind in multiplayer will usually draw you 3 cards and have your opponents discard 3, which is excellent. Garruk Wildspeaker. He comes in, untaps my Cabal Coffers, allows for larger Genesis Waves, which is the next card in my deck. Genesis Wave, what an excellent card. Best green card ever made. It usually wins games by itself because I can generally Genesis Wave for 25 or 30, immediately get it back from my graveyard and do it again for 40, and then I usually win. Okay, and 3 cards. These are the last 3 cards in the deck. 2 of them which are kind of on the fence for me. I'm not sure if I like them very much. Asceticism. It's pretty good in some cases, and sometimes it's just dead. My creatures can't be the target of spells or abilities. However, the creatures I usually run, when they come out, the game is effectively over in 1 or 2 turns, so I don't really know if Asceticism is necessary. Maybe I should put in something that's a little bit more, I don't know, more synergistic with my general. Next, another one that's on the fence. I've never used this one profitably. It is All Is Dust. It seems like a very good card. I don't know why it wouldn't be in the deck, but it really hasn't done much for me in the past. I don't like losing my Mana Reflections or my Garruk or whatever it is. It's not fun to lose. And lastly is Pernicious Deed. Pernicious Deed is another board wipe. It's a very good card, and every green-black deck should have it. Creatures that I might put in Kamal, Fist of Krosa. He's very good with any Wrath effect. He can basically destroy everyone else's lands, which is needed in EDH. We play very competitively in SoCal, and it's necessary to have enough Wrath effects and Armageddon effects to win the game. So that is Glissa. She has been very good to me. If you have any comments or anything like that, or any cards you would like to add or get rid of, please just leave your comment on YouTube or whatever, and come over to TheCommandZone.com. It's at TheCommandZone.com. We have a lot of deck tech series. We have Commander General Reviews, all kinds of good stuff for Commander. So head on over there and check us out. Thank you.